Good morning, my favorite people. Welcome back to the vlog. I am back in the loft after a much longer trip than I expected to Ireland, which I will get into, but for now I am just appreciating being back in the apartment. Like, there's nothing like your own space, your own nest to come home to. This light, oh my god, I've come back to this gorgeous winter light. It's more of a reflection from the other buildings, so it's kind of like hand-me-down light from the other apartments. Yeah, your girl will take all the light that she can get. It's very precious, and has put me in a very good mood this morning. I know a lot of you missed the vlogs, and that's really sweet, so thank you. Sometimes I'm just like, well, I just pack it all in. You've seen enough of my face. You wouldn't believe what happened. Well, you will, because it's kind of happening to everyone. But I was meant to go home for 2.5 weeks. Nice little quick trip. I was like, oh, slip back into my New York routine. Won't be at home for too long. See the boyfriend, see the family. Enjoy Christmas, New Year's, all that jazz. Me and my boyfriend got Omicron. I was completely asymptomatic. I didn't find out until I went for my pre-flight antigen test. So I ended up staying at home almost 2 weeks longer than I expected, because a bit of money, but we move. You know, I have my health, and that is all that matters, and obviously extra time with family. I don't know, my middle name is Silver Linings. My skin feels disgusting. I know it doesn't look disgusting with none of my skincare. I brought like one moisturizer home, and the flight and everything, it feels so congested. I'm just going to start today fresh, get organized. Some pretty big updates also in this video, so stay tuned. Even fresher, but I'm gonna do a nose pore strip because I feel like that's where I feel most of the gunk. These are really good. They're from Hero Cosmetics. They're called the Mighty Patch Nose Strips, and they're actually sponsoring this video, which I'm super excited about because I tried them before I left. Tried one before I left because, you know, the full works, especially on my skin, pre-seeing my boyfriend, because I flew straight in to see him, and anyone that's long distance or even has like prepped for a holiday will know. In terms of self-maintenance, you do the most. You just look like this. I didn't use nose strips for years because I just found it very traumatic. I did it once and I never did it again because it was really harsh. Like, I literally couldn't get it off of my nose. You all know the ones I'm talking about. Traumatic teenage experiences. If you've ever used the Mighty Patch for like pimples, it's basically the same material, but they just made it for the nose. The same active ingredient, hydrocolloid, which basically helps kind of absorb and trap all of the excess sebum build up from sweat and oils and all of that stuff that kind of gets clogged in your pores. It's just a much more gentle way as opposed to aggressively ripping it out of your face, essentially. Perfect time to use these is when you're sleeping, because you have to keep them on for 6 hours minimum, 6 to 8 hours. Like, it's early, I'm just gonna take it off in the afternoon and just, I don't know, maybe show you the gunk that comes off. Anyone that gets a sick rise out of like pimple popping, any pimple poppers out there, you might enjoy this content. Bear with me for a couple of scenes while I have this on and get on with my day. I'm very comfy today. I just pulled my hair out. I've got this cute little top that I got before I left, which I've been loving. It's just a little ASOS find, but it almost reminds me of long johns, but in a top. Anyone that's been following me for a while will know we are all about trying to battle the slob life, and I think feeling good when you're on your own is really important. On a little top like this, like, I can go out and about, or I can lounge at home and still feel good. Got a fright, I forgot I had the patch on, but I also put in these chunky little hoops. They're just a little thicker than the ones I normally wear, and they just came out of this pack from ASOS as well, so I don't expect them to last very long, but I really liked the thickness. So just been like warming up the flat, like the heating is on, I've got my diffuser on, just making it smell and feel more like my apartment. These clothes, I've got like all of my toiletries. I did purposely open all of my bags last night, so I would force myself to do it. Genuinely, I am so lazy. It's like, that could be sitting there for 2 weeks if I didn't hold myself accountable on the vlog. This kind of warms my heart though, which is kind of a part of what I wanted to talk to you guys about, sort of my big life update, I suppose, and it is the fact that yes, these are boys' clothes. Half of the suitcase is my boyfriend's stuff. Yeah, the life update is that my boyfriend's going to be moving in for a while, a couple of months at least. Living by myself in this flat again for almost 2 years. Can you believe that much time has passed? I think that's come up frequently in my Q&As, like what's the goal, like what's the long-term plan with your boyfriend? Definitely feel ready. I feel like after my last trip home, which was I guess like a month and a half, I was back in October, and when I got back from that trip I was really like, yeah, like I'm ready to share my space with someone again. We've lived with each other like in blocks quite a bit over the last year. We definitely agreed that we didn't want to be long distance for more than a year. Kind of done, like I'm done being alone, and it's totally okay to admit that. And it's not that I'm feeling lonely, it's just that I'm ready to have those experiences and like have a nest with someone else again. So excited. He's never been to New York. He's passed through New York to get to like Canada and lots of other parts of the world, but he's never actually spent any time in New York. It's definitely a way of living in this city that I feel like I could do with him that I've never been able to experience before. So it definitely feels like a new chapter in New York. It's kind of rejuvenated my excitement to be in the city. And he's going to be here for a couple of months, and then maybe in spring he's headed to Vancouver. He's going to do a working visa in Vancouver, but we're kind of also of the mind that like plans might change. We're both very like, fuck it, I don't know. It's kind of just like another part of the adventure, another place for me to visit. When you really meet somebody that is on your wavelength and you're both completely committed to it, there's a sense of like calm that comes with it. Like even though we don't know exactly what we're doing, we both know we're up for the adventure. We both know we're committed to each other and that we're not really going to let anything get in the way of that for too long. So Canada is not going to be permanent. New York is not going to be permanent. It's not going to be a personality in the vlogs or a focus of the vlogs. I would imagine that if there's clips that I feel like on an artistic narrative kind of shot level add to the story that I do in these little vlogs that I string together, then yeah, I'll include it. I'll include those little moments, but I definitely feel like relationships are sacred. When this vlog is going live, he's going to be here in a week from now. So I'm going to unpack his clothes and put them up in the closet. It's been a bit of a whirlwind 2 or 3 years relationships and love wise, but I'm in a really good place, and I actually am going to be answering some of your questions in regards to relationships, love, like anything you're going through at the moment, anything you need me to agony aunt on. I feel like I've learned a lot, that it would be, I don't know, a nice theme to continue on throughout the day. Coming. Honestly, guys, that was perfect timing. Just finished putting away everything. Lunch came just as I finished. That has to be a record unpacking time for me. These vlogs, man, always holding me accountable. You guys make me a better person. Warning, if you're disgusted by scenes of meat, skip forward a minute or so. Be fresh bread, they make their own bread. Turkey, bacon, I think there's like mustard in there, some kind of mustard, and then I obviously get like the peppery tomato added on top. Oh, and Gruyere cheese. Oh, probably the best pastries and sandwiches in the neighborhood if you ask me. I don't know what it is by the sandwich. I don't even like mustard, but it's like the saltiest sandwich I've ever had. It's so good. See you shortly. Just hanging up some of his things. He's got a pretty big closet. He's got the built-in closet, which I tend to use for utility, like suitcases, sheets, like my spare bedding. stuff like that. But I'm going to be putting a lot of bits into storage and just freeing up a bit more space. But yeah, it's kind of like my overflow closet. But yeah, it'll just be nice, I think, when he gets here to have some like comfy clothes ready to go, just to like welcome him. Honestly, the questions that you sent in just go on and on and on. I don't think I've ever gotten so many. To be honest, I'm not surprised, because love is something that affects every single one of us in a million different ways, and it's a topic that I have like endless time for and endless energy to discuss. Questions for the singletons, the people in relationships, long-term relationships, long distance. Is it too soon after a long-term breakup to have a real connection with someone new? I feel like this is a good one to start on, because I feel like it's something I have personal experience with, and it'll kind of get me warmed up maybe for answering some of the other ones. I don't think there is a right time. I feel like everyone's right time is different. Like, with my current partner, I really was not expecting him to meet him as soon as like my previous long-term relationship, which was like 10 years. Looking forward to kind of having like a bit of a chaotic single life. You don't need to always know where it's going to end up, you know, like take great connections in life as a gift. I think if a connection is genuinely bringing you happiness and fulfillment, you should pursue it. It's not a crime, and look, if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But I definitely don't believe in closing yourself off just because of what you think you should do or the amount of time you think you should have. People don't give enough credit to the fact that you could have been checked out of your previous relationship or not as aligned with your previous partner for a while before you actually break up. So you could actually be ready for this new connection a lot sooner than you think. You know, it's subjective, and there's definitely people that get into relationships really soon after a breakup because they're trying to fill some kind of void, or they can't be alone, or they don't want to face their feelings, or they want to make their partner jealous. You know, there's also toxic reasons, but if you're secure in yourself and your decisions, I would say follow your heart. Dilemma: have my love but still fantasizing my alone life, brackets flat location, quietness. Is it common? Yes, I think it's totally common. I kind of got a couple along this lines about really independent women kind of after meeting someone, and maybe they're like thinking of moving in together, but they're afraid of losing their sort of independence. And I definitely feel this one, like I am totally in that category as well. But like, as I touched on earlier, I think when you meet the right person, you will naturally kind of just want to progress to the next level. But it is an anxiety. It's an anxiety that I have right now. I live in a studio. Like, I don't know if my partner is going to enjoy that kind of style of living where there's no separate rooms, there's no separation. For me, it's kind of about focusing or shifting my focus onto what's to be gained by potentially living with my partner. Partners stay over more and more, like while still having your separate spaces, and seeing like how you gel together. Kind of take away one thing, but something else is added into your life, and it kind of like makes up for it. Two that were kind of similar. How do you know your relationship is aligned? And how do you know if they're the one? It's its own kind of pressure. 100% agree. You can get so caught up in analyzing your relationship and every little obstacle you guys go through. You're like, oh, is this a sign that it's like not my person? Everyone's idea of an aligned relationship looks different. For me, after my previous relationship ended, I had a really kind of clear idea about the type of relationship I wanted. It was really very simple. I wanted back what I put in. And then when those things kind of presented themselves in a person, I was then filled with all kinds of anxiety, what's commonly known as relationship anxiety, because you doubt yourself. You doubt that what's being presented in front of you is the truth because you've been hurt in the past. And that was something that also was coming up frequently in the questions and answers, is like how to not let past situations and past relationships kind of inform your new ones. God, my neighbor is doing kettlebells right now. This is very funny. I didn't always feel like trying to necessarily force two puzzle pieces together, but it almost felt like the universe was presenting all of these obstacles that for one reason or another were just stopping the relationship from growing and progressing. And I learned a lot from that relationship. I learned probably what 3 or 4 other relationships would have taught me in sort of one long period of time. Aside from the odd bit of anxiety, it's the amount of calm that I feel, it's the lack of obstacles that are in the relationship, and how we're just flowing together in the same direction with the same goals. Relationships take work, they take dedication. But now, having experienced this, I don't feel like they necessarily have to be constantly difficult or constantly an uphill battle. And that was something, that was kind of a lie that I had believed in the past, was that, oh, relationships have to be really, really hard. And that's not necessarily the case. You can tackle difficult things and difficult obstacles as a couple, but the relationship itself, your connection, your dedication to one another shouldn't be difficult, shouldn't be hard. And yeah, I think an aligned relationship for us anyway is just something where all of our non-negotiables are met and we feel like fulfilled, and there's nothing we feel like we're giving up or that we don't have in the relationship that we can't give each other. Love a little bit of agony auntieing on the sexual chemistry related questions. Person said, dwindling sex life with boyfriend, it feels awkward, strained and clumsy, past traumas have been shared. Then another person said, love my partner but sex once a month doesn't cut it, love him but can't do it, scared to go through the breakup motions, lose a good friend but he is just that, no passion. And the third one was from one of my male followers actually, and it says, not wanting sex as much as a partner who you're in a relationship with. So the first two were from females, the last one was from a man. And I think that there is this misconception that men are always the ones, or more than often the ones, that want or need more sex, and women are the ones that tend to push it off or don't have as high of a sex drive. I feel like this goes to show that that is simply just not the case. Women also, what's the word, they kind of assign themselves like, oh, you know what, like I have a safe relationship, I don't need this aspect. And actually it's quite important for a lot of women. There's this misconception that if you're in a long-term relationship that like eventually the passion will go, and I genuinely don't think that's the case. I know plenty of people, and also plenty of like middle-aged older adults that are deeply in love still. We do believe that you deserve to have someone where even every once in a while you look at them and you just want to rip their clothes off because you're extremely attracted to them. And I know life can get in the way of that sometimes, and your drives might be different, to work a little bit towards in creating environment for desire for each other, for passion for each other. But I understand what it's like to just have it not be there or not be able to cultivate it, and it's a horrible feeling. It actually gives you a lot of the same feelings as rejection when your partner doesn't want to be intimate. So here we're dealing with two sides of the coin. I feel like I've seen so many examples of people thinking they have a low sex drive and then realizing that they just weren't with a partner that brings out that side of them, and they've had like a completely different approach in their next relationships. You know, we'll say if you are happy in your relationship, like screw what I have to say. At the end of the day, you know you, and as I say often, take what resonates, leave what doesn't, leave the rest. And that goes with anything you see online. If it's helpful, it's helpful. If it's not, or it makes you doubt yourself, like forget it, it's fine, you can leave it. It's not aimed directly at you personally. For the person that sees their partner as a friend and is kind of ready to let things go, yes, there might be some fallout, but if you already know this and you already know what makes you happy, you're setting the other person free from this expectation you have with them. You know, they'll never be able to reach your expectations in that regard. Loving yourself and also showing love to other people sometimes looks like letting them go and knowing when to let them go, and have someone that will take them exactly as they are and not want any more from them. Run out, nose patch and all, to collect some packages. Thank God for masks.
Caught is hot.
Oh my God. There is truly nothing beautiful or glamorous about that situation. Hinge boy stopped replying to me but still follows me and likes my pics, watches stories. Well, also, if you're wondering what I'm doing, I am steaming pillowcases because I have a loft rental booking tomorrow. There's like a 6 or 7 hour photo shoot on, and I need to put the sheets and the pillowcases on my spare duvet, because what I like to do is when I have bookings, I just have a separate set that just gets whipped on. If he's ghosted you and is still kind of trying to basically take up space rent-free in your head by checking in on you, or just, you know, these people know they're visibly present to some degree. You have control over who has access to you, and that is in regards to your energy as well, but in this simplistic version of like it being on a social media account. Block them. Call me petty, but I think in that situation you're well within your rights to just remove that access. It's been more than 8 hours since I put on the Mighty Patch nose strip. Gently take it off, but this is what it looks like. Why is this always so satisfying? Ew! Look! Oh, that is so gross. Okay, so that's everywhere where the patch worked. Yikes. Jeez, that does look really clean, doesn't it? Like, it worked better than I was expecting. I didn't think I would have as much of an effect this time around. Yeah. That is so gross. Put a little side by side before and after. I don't know how they'll compare, but I know my nose feels nice. Like, it feels light and clean and actually quite moisturized. Very gentle and easy to remove and very comfortable. I was wearing it all day. Very happy to recommend these. Come in a pack of 10. I have a discount code, which I will leave on the screen here, but even if you have a girly night coming up and the girls are coming over, like, get a pack of these. Sit around and talk shite with a glass of wine and a nose patch. At least you'll be sending the girlies home with clean pores. I'll also leave a link in the description for easy shopping. Yeah, highly recommend. Honestly, I feel like this day has just hit me like a ton of bricks all of a sudden. So I'm going to answer like 2 or 3 more questions. Struggling to get in the mood sexually because I am stressed, overwhelmed in day-to-day life. Again, in the same way that you would carve out time for your partner in the previous thing, I think it's really important if you're overworked and stressed and just not feeling it, to carve out the time to get in the zone. Half a day at the weekend to really romanticize your evening. Like, get the candles going, get the music playing, run yourself a bath. I feel like as women, a lot of our pleasure takes longer to, I guess, brew than men, and I don't think you should feel guilty. I think when you're really stressed and overwhelmed, it's hard to like bring yourself into that mindset. In general, the best experiences for women in this topic are all about relaxing into it and taking your time with your partner without any rush or expectation or pressure on it. Just sort of enjoy the moment, even if it doesn't lead somewhere else, because you definitely don't want it to feel like something that's on your to-do list. You want it to be an enjoyable, truly enjoyable. How do you bring romance back when you seem pleasantly stuck in a routine? Half the clue is in the question, and that is to break the routine. Do something different, do an activity, do something that brings you as a couple closer together. And I think the best way to do that is to have fun. Show some interest. Like, I've tried some of my partner's hobbies, and also like he's very competitive. So doing competitive activities with each other really adds an excitement. Practical note though, this might sound a little weird, but if you are kind of into bringing a bit more of a spiritual experience to your sex life, which is honestly like, say you feel a little disconnected or you kind of want to increase that flow of attraction with each other, try eye gazing. Kind of a tantric technique, but you just kind of sit facing each other in a really relaxed environment, or like if you really want to, like sit in your partner's lap and kind of like face each other with your legs wrapped around. If you want to go right up face to face, you can, and just stare at each other. I know that sounds insane. Put some music on. You can set a timer, like start at 30 seconds, but like try and get to 5 minutes or 10 minutes and like increase it over time. And I promise you, you will be so in love and connected with your other person. Like, you'll just start looking at the magic in their eyes and you'll smile and you'll laugh. I don't really hear anyone kind of talking about these type of techniques, but they're deeply intimate. It also feeds into the concept of co-regulation. Like, when your partner comes home, kind of connecting into your heart spaces, hearing each other's heartbeats can do wonders for the happiness within a relationship. After a long day, if your partner's up here and you're down here, or vice versa, it just kind of helps you meet in the middle. Something really innocent and wholesome about it, but you never know where it might go. On that note, I think I'm gonna leave it there. Maybe Mercury retrograde, but you know, we're gonna take things slow. We're gonna watch what we say. We're gonna walk slowly, watch our step. We're going to pour slowly and not spill the red wine all over the carpet or break our technology. Watching this video for this week let's just try and tap into that sort of safe, protected energy and just try and get through it as unscathed as possible. Great week, bye!